The following do-it-yourself instructions are by amateurs for amateurs. Expertise in any field is neither expressed nor implied. Your results may vary.
On this episode of Rock This Boat, going to be working on the Brightwork, which is the wood, the varnish, and this boat has a lot of wood on it, and this is going to be a lot of work. This is a recent job on another boat. This is not our boat, obviously, but this is another boat that's been professionally done. We hope ours looks half as good as this. This is what we're up against. This is our boat. This is the old wood. We're talking about the tow rail. We're talking about the wood around the aft deck. All this is going to have to be stripped down completely. It's going to have to be sanded several stages, and it's going to have about 8 or 9 coats of varnish on it. And I have two folks going to help me on this episode, two of my sons, Campbell.
How are you?
And Douglas. And they're going to help us restore this boat. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's rock this boat. These are the materials we'll need for this episode. First, a heat gun. We'll need a paint scraper. We'll need 3 grits of sandpaper, 120, 220, and 320. We'll need acetone. We'll need a tack cloth. We'll need varnish, and I prefer Pettit 1015 Captain's varnish. It really goes on real smooth and looks great. And we'll need a brush, and I prefer a foam brush for a couple of reasons. It really goes on nice and smooth with a foam brush. And afterwards, there's no messy cleanup, you can just discard it. So, let's get started. First thing we have to do when we're going to re-varnish is we have to take the old varnish off, and we're using a railing gate here as a demonstration, and we'll show you some of the other places we're doing it on the boat. We got to put a heat gun. Now, there are all sorts of ways to do this, and some people do it with chemicals. I've found that it doesn't work very well. The best way to do it, it's the most tedious way to do it though, is to use a heat gun, and Douglas is going to show you how to do this. We're going to put the heat gun down here on it, and then as soon as this starts to bubble, then we're going to start scraping, and we got to get all the varnish off. So, Douglas, go right ahead. That was brutal.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, just, wait for it to bubble, scrape. Wait for it to bubble, scrape. I was doing this by myself. This guy came by and stood there and watched me for a couple of minutes, and then he said, that is the textbook definition of tedious. And it is. I mean, it's the most tedious thing, but it has to be done. We're not getting it done sitting here.
We gotta get back to it.
Ready, Doug?
Ready as I'll ever be, Phil.
Lord,
help us.
All right, let's do it. Once I started doing this, I found out that it was extremely difficult to take the varnish off the bottom side of the handrail. So I decided to take the handrail off the stanchions. And then I was going to flip it over and take the varnish off the bottom side. Once I took the handrail back here off, I decided that I was going to take the stanchions out for a variety of reasons. This is the way the big boys do it. They take the stanchions off and then they sand everything down to get everything smooth. When I pulled the stanchion out of the hole that's in the tow rail, I found that there was water in the first one, which of course I deduced from that the rubber gasket around here, the rubber seal, had deteriorated over the years and was allowing water down into the hull. That probably accounts for some of the rotting that we've had on the port side, on the planks on the hull of the port side. So I'm going to take all the stanchions off, all the handrails off. I'll be able to flip the handrails over and get all the varnish off and then revarnish those while they're off. It also gives me a chance to take some of this hardware off the stanchions and really clean this up and have it looking good, because this is really nasty right now. It's oxidized and everything else. It also gives me a chance to smooth down where the stanchions were and get some new rubber gaskets and put under there so that it seals and it doesn't leak from now on when we put the stanchions back in. So we're taking all the handrail off, all the stanchions out, and then we're going to revarnish where the stanchions were, clean the stanchions up, get the handrail varnished, and then put everything back together. Simple, huh? So here's what we're going to do. We got to do some sanding now. The first is we got 120 grit, and that's what we're going to go over first. And then
that's the thickest?
Yeah, Which
one is the thickest? 120?
120 grit. Yeah, 120 grit is going to get most of it off. And then we're going to come back over with 220, and that's going to get the rest of the varnish off, and that's going to smooth things down. After we do that, we're going to be able to go over with acetone and then tack cloth it, and then we'll be able to start varnishing.
Why don't you just hit it really hard with 320?
Because the 320 is not strong enough, not a big enough grit to get the varnish off. So we got to start with 120. Okay, 120, 220, 320. Here we go.
India Golf 9er. I'm sick to death of doing sandpaper work. Over.
Roger that, India Golf 9er. We got your sandpaper ready to go.
I can barely hear you. You're not coming in. I told you I'm sick of doing sandpaper work. I'm not going to be doing any more. Over.
Yeah, too bad there, because you're going to be doing sandpaper all day long.
I've gone over this toe rail with acetone to make sure that I get as much of the dust off as I can, and now I'm going to go over it with a tack cloth to get any residual dust that may still be on it. And after I do that, now we're ready to start applying our first coat of varnish. And again, I'm using the Captain's varnish. I'm a big believer in this. It really, really gives you great results. We're going to put the first coat on, and then we'll have to come over that with 320 sandpaper and sand that. Then we'll do the acetone, vacuum acetone, tack cloth, and then we'll come over another coat. We're going to do this 9 times on all of this wood just to make sure we've got it covered.
Campbell,
Yes, sir.
have you finished sanding that latest coat of varnish yet?
No.
What are you waiting on, lad?
I'm going as fast as I can, man.
Faster, lad. We have a television show to shoot. Faster.
I can't go any faster.
Faster, lad. Faster.
I can't go any faster.
Well, after we got the toe rail varnished, it was apparent that the accent pieces weren't cutting it. As you can see here, these things need a lot of work on them. We need to brighten these things up. I originally took some of them and I sent them off to have them professionally done, but it was so expensive that I decided to try it myself. This is an accent piece that goes on the toe rail that we have varnished so that it looks nice and shiny. This has got some age on it. It is really old here. I'll show you this. You can see how well worn and built up and all the rest of it that's on there. This is the way it's supposed to look. See how nice and shiny that is? And all it takes is a buffing wheel. Now, I actually paid a bunch of money to have this other one done, and did some reading up on this one on YouTube and found that they used a wheel, buffing wheel, and a polishing wheel. I thought it was probably too expensive, so I went looking for one. Actually, they have them at Lowe's. I think this is a skill. It's about 50 bucks or so. This was a floor model or a closeout or something, and I got it for like 25 or 30 bucks. So it is well worth it, especially if you're going to do a lot of trim like this. And it's fairly easy to do. You got a buffing wheel and you got a polishing wheel, and the difference is this one is going to cut a lot of the junk off of it, and this one is going to polish it. This is a little buffing compound. I don't have a lot of it left, but I got some more. I use the black with this one. I use the white with that one. So let's get started and see if we can buff this thing up and make it look like the other one. First, I'm going to use a little compound here, and you don't need much, just like that. And then now that we've buffed, we use this buffing wheel, we're going to polish, which is the final stage of this to make it look really good. We use the white polishing compound, and you just need a little bit of it. Just a second or two on there. And then do exactly what we did before. And it should polish it up very nicely. Can you tell the difference between the old and the new? Well, I'll tell you what the difference is. The answer is the bottom one was professionally done, the top one we just got through doing. I mean, what you can do with a little time and patience and a little polishing compound is just amazing. Of course, after polishing up all the stainless steel accent pieces, it put the chrome to shame. As you can see, this is a chrome cleat. This is the way it did look. I looked into having these things re-chromed, but it was so expensive, so I said, well, I can do the chrome paint. So I tried that. Don't. The chrome paint doesn't work. After considering everything and wanting everything to look exactly as I wanted it to look, I decided to bite the bullet and have everything re-chromed. And the result was fantastic. We just got the chrome pieces back from the rechroming place, and I want you to see this because this looks absolutely awesome. It's unbelievable.
Let's see them, man.
And we had all of it done. Look at this. Check out that cleat, man. Is that not beautiful? Check it out.
That's cool. That's really cool. Look at those. Those look incredible.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's better than I thought. As a matter of fact, the guy says that this is better chrome than was on it to start with. So we got a whole box full of this stuff. And now we get to go back to the boat and start putting it on. Got all excited about the re-chromed hardware, and it looks fantastic, but as you probably noticed, I'm a little bit persnickety, so I didn't want to put old screws, or ragged old screws like this back in there, so I decided I was going to go get some new screws. How hard can that be? Well, I looked everywhere. We had to shut down production for a month. Hundreds of people out of work on this production, while I looked for screws. Stainless steel, 5/16 inch screws. These are equivalent to a number 20 wood screw. They don't make them. Not anywhere. I looked all over the country, couldn't find them anywhere. I looked all over the world, couldn't find them anywhere. And then our harbor master, Ron, was doing some research, and he came across a technique that I don't know why I didn't think of this myself, because Captain Bob showed me this technique when we were bringing the boat back from Florida. Toothpicks. Yeah, wooden toothpicks. When you have a hole that's too big, the screw doesn't fit, it's stripped out, then you stuff toothpicks down in there, or wooden dowels or whatever, and of course it fills in the hole. Hello. So we found number 14 stainless steel screws, and the head is a little bit smaller than this, but it does fit for the stanchion bases and for the cleat bases, and so we're going to use those. But of course, before I do that, persnickety as I am, I got to polish all the heads. Before we screw down our re-chromed hardware, I want to show you something. This is a rubber gasket that actually came on the boat, I guess, and it serves a couple of purposes, the best I can tell. Is it seals it in around here so water doesn't get into the screws or into this hole. but it also keeps you from screwing this hardware down too hard to the deck to where it makes a dent into the wood. I actually found this on the internet again, and this is at our website. This is a sheet of rubber. It's a little bit thicker than this, but I'm assuming that this has deteriorated over the years. So what I did was I did one of them, and it fits, you know, nicely. And it doesn't have to be exact, it just has to seal. And then I use this as a template, and I cut out all the rest of these, and I got a stack of them over here. So now that we've got the gasket done and we've got the Rechrome hardware, let's go ahead and put these stanchion bases back on. We ended up putting 9 coats of varnish on this toe rail, and it really, really does look good all up and down. It looks fantastic. Now we're ready to put in our Rechrome stanchion base. We want to put a pilot hole through those gaskets, those rubber gaskets. And then we're ready for our toothpicks. And I want to get this started with the drill. I don't want to go, see, I don't want to strip them. I don't want to go all the way down, so I'm going to go that far. Then I'm going to hand tighten them the rest of the way so I don't screw up the screw or the chrome that I've paid a fortune to do. And there you have it. Wipe it off so you can see the chrome. And boy, that looks righteous. Easy, boy, easy. Some of you crew folks could help out. I mean, they're all busy. Ta-da! Thanks for your help, guys. You guys come in and take a look at this. Wow. This, my friends, is the fruits of our labor.
That does look pretty good.
It looks absolutely awesome. Look at
that.
Man, you ought to be proud of it. That is just unbelievable. And remember back at the beginning when we were just tedious, bubble up, scream, and look at all that we've got right now. It is just unbelievable. Now look.
It does look good.
It does look good, doesn't it? Yeah. Aren't you proud of yourself? We've got the railing that looks so much better than before. We got the toe rail. Look at that, man. That is just absolutely unbelievable. Man, that's made a world of difference. 9 coats. And then the chrome. Good grief. The difference between that and what we got now. And then there's all the wood on the aft deck that we redid that took us weeks and weeks and weeks to get it done. But here we are finally at the end of it, and I'm so proud of it. I'm really proud of you guys.
Thanks.
So proud that I'm going to pay you.
You're going to pay us?
I'm going to pay you. There you go. There you go. Don't spend it all in one place.
You're paying us $1.
Yeah, now you know the value of $1. You've heard that term, right?
Oh, I have, yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. There's the value of $1.
Great, thanks.
That, and you got to rock this boat.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Huh?
What does $1 even buy anyway?
What does it buy? You can buy yourself a cup of coffee.
No.
It doesn't?
No.
Okay. Well, it does at my house. You want a cup of coffee?
Yeah, thanks.
That'll be $1. Back. No, go back further. Hit your mark. You didn't hit your mark. Oh my gosh, cut. I can't work with these people. All right, boys, here's what we're gonna do.
How could that be?
Here we go. Stand by. Doug, you need to get out of the way out.